Welcome everybody to the Laying It Down podcast, where we talk about everything wrestling, bringing on content creators and now professional wrestlers into our podcast. Today we have the one, the only, the Now That's Wrestling champion, Perfection. Welcome in.
You're welcome for Perfection's presence and making this podcast 10 times better than what it was, and also blessing you to be the first pro wrestler on your podcast.
Absolutely. We even have a brand new layout too, brand new overlay that everybody's going to see once this video is up on YouTube. So we did like a little bit of an upgrade behind the scenes. So this is going to be really exciting. And Perfection, I appreciate you for taking the time to hang out with us today. And I'm very curious to know a lot of your thoughts on some of the questions that we have. So to everybody coming in, this is Perfection. He is our very first professional wrestler that we have had on the podcast. For those who don't know Perfection is a graduate of the Seth Rollins Black and Brave Wrestling Academy and was also trained by Seth Rollins and Marek Brave themselves. So this is going to be really good, and I'm excited to start this off, guys. I'm going to have you introduce yourself, Perfection, to the podcast. Let everybody know who you are, where people can find you, and give us a little bit of a background of you and your persona as a professional wrestler.
All right. Well, hello, peasants and bozos. It is yours truly, Perfection. Of course, like JLD said, trained by Seth Rollins and Marek Brave. 2018, that's when I graduated. Didn't start onto the independent scene until January of 2020. And then everybody knows how 2020 ended and what ended up happening. So I had to basically rebuild onto 2021. I'm sure we'll get into my career later on as well. As far as where you can find me, real quick, Instagram is probably the best way to get all my links. Perfection Pro Wrestler, where you find a link tree and you'll see all my merch on ProWrestlingTees, my social medias as far as like Facebook, TikTok, trying to get better at TikTok now, all across the board. Perfection Pro Wrestler, except for X, because that's a little toxic. You know, Perfection may be, you know, an a-hole to a lot of people, but there's one thing that Perfection is not. It's toxic.
And like toxicity is fun because I'm assuming you're a heel then, right? In your persona. Being a heel is so freaking fun because you get to be yourself rather than having to like just, you know, have everybody cheer you on. You can literally just talk shit to the crowd and they will eat it all up. And personally, as somebody who is an adult watching wrestling now versus as a kid, I love my heels. I enjoy all the shit talking. I enjoy when they're just getting all the boos. You know, Dominic Mysterio is one of those examples, and like I think him and many others have like opened up my eyes to like seeing everybody as a heel versus as a babyface. So that's freaking awesome.
Yeah, funny story, and this is actually the first time I've ever said this on a podcast. So
okay,
being a heel is not by choice. Typically, the old traditional way is once you get trained and whatnot, and you're ready for your first debut. You're typically wrestlers, and this is the old style. Don't know how much it changed across America or around the world. Typically, want to start as a babyface. That's how you get yourself known and get people behind you. So when that heel turn behind the curtain, when the heel turn happens, that's what makes them, oh, we used to love you. But with me, definitely not by choice. I don't know if it's also just a personal thing growing up because I was not liked a lot. I was bullied a lot. That also goes with the stigma of, you know, liking wrestling, as all wrestling fans have built. But, you know, all of a sudden it's cool now. But
you watch wrestling, you're a nerd.
Yeah, but now it's like, oh man, I saw WrestleMania 41, man. The Rock was there, was so great, man. And
yeah,
I'm like,
who's that Roman Reigns guy? Oh, I saw John Cena from the movies. Like,
yeah, I'm like, bro. But anyways, not by choice. So growing up obviously was hated, and when I first started class for Black and Brave, one of my classmates, before we like warmed up to each other, one of my classmates, shout out Tim Hayden from Australia, go check him out, he's phenomenal. He told me, you know, when I first saw you, I just wanted to punch you in the face. You just have a very punchable face. And you know what's called, and then so I just became a natural heel. But the promotion that started me, Zawa Live in Illinois, Northern Illinois, they tried to start me old school, tried to get me start as a face, and I already knew I was coming in with this Perfection gimmick, and I'm like, okay, then sure, all right, I'll make it work. And I had I had So Fresh So Clean, which I've had, you know, my
your theme song
wrestling, by Outkast, my whole career, but the internet wasn't working. And I was like, oh man, I can't have my theme song. I'm like, do you have anything rap, R&B? So they gave me Usher, Yeah. And I'm like, okay, maybe that'll even work even better because, you know, like that's a fun song that everybody can get into.
Yeah.
You know, then he comes up, you know, starts dun, 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 and it just goes in, and then I'm coming out on the drop where he goes in the club with my homies, right? They come out, instantly get laughed at. Everyone just laughs at me, and I'm like, yup, this is not going. This is not. And then that's also when the promoter knew, was like, ooh, maybe we should not be, you know,
not be baby face. Yeah.
And I was trying to do everything. You know, I did the typical, let's go, come on, guys,
like hype up the crowd.
Yeah, and so that's how the whole heel. I was just destined to be a heel. So.
And would you say that's how you came up with the name and character of Perfection, was because of like what you said, like how you were bullied back then, and like just
so Perfection actually derived because, you know, the greatest gimmicks, as The Rock says, literally my top favorite wrestler, is just a trait of you turned to 11 and then other traits turned down. Perfection wasn't even my original gimmick. I don't even think I've said this on other podcasts either, but I have a tattoo right here, first ever tattoo. It says Mad Mike.
That's fire.
And I've been wanting to come in because I've been wanting to be a wrestler since I was 7.
Okay.
And, 6'7",
awesome.
Yeah, 6'7". And I thought I was going to grow up to be 7 foot tall, 300 pounds, powerhouse. Obviously, I didn't know how genetics work.
I'm going to be the Big
5'9".
Show.
Yeah, I was trying to aim for like Kane, Undertaker, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna be a big guy, but obviously that didn't happen. Then when I started noticing that, I still wanted to be Mad Mike going into Black and Brave, but I was trying to do more of like going off because I was diagnosed with bipolar type 1. Trying to like, oh, maybe I can go something else, like a little AJ Lee, little Dean Ambrose, you know, kind of go off that. During that time, I was also going through a dark time, very like had depression, like I said, bipolar, but I also was very egotistical. I was where it was also like self-destructive, where I cared about only myself so much that I literally have pushed people away because I was so toxic. And that's kind of where this character stems from, because even then I was taking a college course in hip hop, and because my ego was so high, I was like, oh yeah, I got this piece, I got this dance piece. And then one of my classmates was like, okay, Mr. Perfection, tongue-in-cheek kind of insult. I dropped the Mr. and I'm like, yeah, I am Perfection. And that's literally where it came from.
History, my friends.
Yeah. I mean, they say the best nicknames, like, you don't choose. So literally, same with Mad Mike. I got that name in first grade when I got into a fight.
And then that's how I guess JLD also became a thing. Like, I started off as everybody said just laying down, and that's a whole other story in itself. It's like, oh, what was I doing like while college was going on? I would always respond with, I'm just laying down. What are you up to? What are you doing? That was literally my catchphrase. Like every time someone texted me, what are you doing? I just used it everywhere, and then everybody just called me JLD, and I never renamed it. I could have renamed it to rebrand like to a wrestling thing, but it would have been too much time to try and get everybody back, because everybody would have forgot or wondered where Just Laying Down was.
Exactly. No, yeah, that's definitely a great choice. Like if you have something, then like stick with it, because like again, so like even going in, sorry to go back, but when I was going into Black and Brave, like I said, I was going Mad Mike, but I was making, and if anyone who scrolls far back enough in my Instagram will see, before I started graduating, I made some really cringy videos. I don't know if you remember Vine.
Yes, do it for the Vine.
They also had the Grind on Me challenge, and made some really cringy, videos. And then my Merrick Brave was actually like just going through it during class one time and just showing everybody popping, put it into like a group chat that they had.
Oh my god!
Even Seth Rollins is like, "What are you doing?" And that's where I was like, maybe I should turn to Perfection. So that's how Mad Mike became Perfection.
And if there's one thing we should all learn from all this, is that even people like Solo Sikoa, people will go way back in time and realize that he loved his Thriller dances, and he also hated math class.
Yep, exactly.
So one of my next questions for you is, and I guess this sort of ties into what you just said about graduating back in 2018. How long have you been a professional wrestler for? And to add to that, tell me one thing that people don't realize goes into being a professional wrestler that people may not see from behind the scenes.
Let's see. Obviously, graduated 2018. Did nothing 2019. because I just didn't know where to start because I had to move back home.
Okay.
And because it's only a 3-month course, so then once that's over, it's kind of like, all right,
What do you do now? Yeah.
so I was kind of finding my footing there. But as far as what people don't know, and I'm sure it's been said, that most of the work isn't about what's going on in the ring or what promo you're shooting. It's everything that you have to do outside. So yes, I work my shoot job, Monday through Thursday, Monday through Friday, but I also have to go to the gym right after that because this is an appearance that I have to keep up. 5 days a week. I have to make sure I eat right. I had to go on to this is my second month starting Joey Swole. Don't know who know who Joey Swole is. Started his training, so he's like my trainer now.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, shout out him. It's really cheap, really great. Definitely had to invest in that, and then also the road, of course, getting road trips, doing
On the road, yep.
3 to even 8 hours on the road one way, and then you're not making much money, so it's not like you could buy a hotel. So now you got to make that trip back, get home at like 4 a.m.
That's crazy, man.
So it's the time and money you spend outside of the ring is what matters. It doesn't matter if you can do a flippity doo-dah into the ring or you could talk the best crap on the mic. It's about what you're doing outside. One thing that Al Snow, when I was going to indie shows, one thing he said to me that sticks with me to this day is the amount of time and money you invest into yourself is the amount of time and money that fans will invest in you.
Yep.
So that sticks with me.
And I think that goes into not even just professional wrestling, but just anything in general, is the consistency, repetition, and understanding what goes into whatever business you're doing. Content creation, for example, trying to post and be everywhere. With professional wrestling, there's a lot that goes behind it. And also just invest in yourself. Be the perfection you want to be.
Literally.
So I want to give a big shout out on the podcast to Paula LV23, one of our, actually I think she follows you too on TikTok. She's part of the Know Your Wrestling community. She's great. She's absolutely amazing. She actually and I'm sure you saw it, one of the questions for you is, what was your motivation to become a professional wrestler? Was there any inspiration from a specific person? Was there a specific group, maybe someone you watched growing up? I know you said that you wanted to be a wrestler since you were young, or was it just a love of wrestling and just watching it?
I was the first ever wrestling fan in my whole family. And the reason for that is, so growing up, my mom had me when she was 18. So she was younger, but she loved video games. She loved platformers like Mario and Sonic.
Okay, nice.
And my earliest memories is playing Nintendo 64 with her. And she was playing, we'd play Mario together, like, Mario 64. But my first ever game system for me was the PlayStation 1. First ever game was we went to a flea market, and she's like, "Okay, pick out a game." And I don't know what's going on. I don't know what these types of games are. But I just see something that stuck out to me was a PS1 game that was a blue cover with The Rock, Triple H, and I believe Mankind also as well. SmackDown 2, Know Your Role. Yep. And I took it in, and nonetheless don't know what wrestling is still. What really drew me was the entrances. I don't know if you remember the entrances. It was the big Titantrons behind them, and it's just their model like walking. So I love going through each. Yep. Like every single person, I like to go through like every single person, like, oh, who The Rock? Let's see what his entrance is, and it's his theme song. If You Smell, and Too Cool. I played the hell out of anyone from Too Cool, because that song is just jamming.
You gotta just appreciate Rikishi and all of them.
Oh yeah,
and Scotty Too Hottie.
Grandmaster Sexy was my guy. That was me.
Yes,
me and my friends, we would do the dance, and I was Grandmaster Sexy. R.I.P. But yeah, so I knew it was SmackDown 2. I'm like, oh, there must be a first. So I go by the first, play the games, and I follow that all the way to SmackDown. Here Comes the Pain. This whole time, I'm still thinking, oh man, this is a great gaming franchise. It's another Mario franchise. It's another Sonic franchise. And it wasn't until I started flipping through the channels on the TV, and the first thing I see and recognize is John Cena and Eddie Guerrero in a parking lot brawl. And I'm like,
Yes.
what? This is a real thing? This is something that you can actually do? Because I'm thinking these are all actors. These are all things just for the game. But when I realized that this is a real thing, that's when I realized, yeah,
this is interesting.
So the rest is history. As far as like anyone like who inspired me, it's definitely my top three. I always go to The Rock, Eddie Guerrero, and Shinsuke Nakamura.
Okay.
Just because as an Asian, especially if you go back to Kai and Tai and all that stuff, Asians were very boxed in. And I knew of New Japan, but like as far as WWE, like it was very like Asian guy, martial artist, Yoshitatsu, martial art, like Kung Fu Naki, like
yeah,
it was
damn
like,
Funaki. I forgot about him.
Yep, and but when I saw Shinsuke, when they were teasing him, like, let me go see this guy. I watched Wrestle Kingdom 10 against AJ Styles. He isn't just a martial arts guy. He's he has like he's his charisma. Like almost eminently like The Rock, his charisma. He's like he compares himself to Michael Jackson, like his charisma. I see another entrance of him like with a bunch of girls on his arm. Like it was the change of character from an Asian where I'm like, oh, I don't have to go to WWE and just put a gi on and go watch. So yeah, he definitely inspired me. So those are all my top three that inspire me.
And I think that as we've gone through the years of WWE, back then Vince McMahon was more old school on a lot of things, and he would in a way generalize people based on like ethnicities and like where you were from, and that's based on how the factions would be. Unfortunately, it's like back in the day, the Mexicools, it's like you look back at it now, you're like, why did they have them with lawnmowers and like the freaking jumpsuits? Like how
hey, but I was hyped for them.
How stereotypical is that? It's like, come on, bro. Back then we're not thinking about that, but like just like Jesus Christ. Now I feel like in the Triple H era there's more opportunity to people to show themselves off more as performers rather than just like being generalized as like kind of put into a persona that's just based on your nationality or who you may look like. Because I remember Tonga Loa was actually one of the I forgot the name of the group, but he was one of the Cholos with I forgot who his name was. I think Primo Epico or something.
Yeah, well, it's not that you're missing a big one, and I mean big Yokozuna. That man was not Japanese.
He was not
Japanese.
But he put on the illusion. He put on that illusion. They built him from Japan. They had him with the whole outfit. Mr. Fuji with the flag. Like, you really thought he was from Japan. Like, he was a sumo wrestler. When in reality, he was just a Samoan.
Yeah.
But I like that now, at least in WWE's eyes, and I think even AEW, like they're at least empowered to be more of themselves. They still incorporate their culture, but it's not in a stereotypical way, which is really good to see. So I see that very nice wrestling belt next to you, and that is a Now Wrestling Championship. First of all, it looks really nice. It's freaking fire. Second, when it comes to that's the name of the promotion, right? Now That's Wrestling, or is there a different name for it?
Yep. Yeah, Now That's Wrestling, based out of Wisconsin, around Appleton, Neenah, basically like that area around Wisconsin.
So tell us a little bit about your journey getting to Now That's Wrestling. Was it like, did you get booked by somebody, or did you know like a friend, like somebody that got you into the promotion? How did that process work, and like that got you into where you are today with them?
So great question, actually. No one's ever asked that. But so I worked for a promotion called Frontline Pro, also in Wisconsin, ran by Ben McCoy, and he was doing a breakout tournament. This is my first year, I think, of second year of wrestling. I don't know if you do you count COVID year a year in wrestling?
I guess know. I personally didn't even watch wrestling in 2020 because of the pandemic. It just didn't interest me at the time. Plus 2019, I was oversaturated with wrestling where I was like, I'm taking a break.
Yeah. But yeah, so got into Frontline Pro. He had a breakout tournament for all the new people, and was in a fatal four-way with Davey Bang, who is currently on the Chicago independent scene. Blanking on the other guy's name. Sorry. The other guy was Johnny Smash. And Johnny Smash helps run Now That's Wrestling, also known as Mike Jarrett now. We just clicked. We were just joking, and we've never met each other, but it was our first day, and we just clicked. He called up his buddy Nathan Gust, who also wrestles for now and owns Now, who moved to Florida. He calls him, hey, I got this guy, Perfection, blah, blah, I think it'd be great. And Now That's Wrestling was just coming back. They used to run a lot, I believe 2010,
Okay.
10-ish, and they just came back, and they wanted me for their first show back called Regeneration X.
Good name.
Yeah, and I came in, and that's where I got to know everybody. That show, there was this who is my now manager, C. Martin McClure, was rating every single match and like just taking notes. And I had a match with Salem Crane, phenomenal. And at the end, I get DDT through mirror, actually, and that's how I got this scar. I have a big scar tissue right. Yeah, it's deep. Just moved to Wisconsin, didn't have health insurance, so we just put
God.
So we put super glue and butterfly bandage, and I just held my arm out for a whole month.
Oh my God, bro.
So ended up being so he's taking Matt, looking at everybody. Later on at different shows, C. Martin McClure made family called the McClure family, and I was part of it. It was me, Devin, Loverboy, Luke Pierce, and Roy Cooper, and that's the original McClure family. And through the years, shenanigans happened as we remove members, we add members, and it wasn't until this past December, we Out of Control 2, we had Kurt Angle come in.
I did see that flyer.
And earlier last year, I won a title called the 25-8 title.
Yes.
From my girlfriend, actually, Josie Valentine. Kind of took that one from her, but the way that it started as like a 24/7 spoof.
Yeah, 25-8, yeah.
Yep, but it ended up being a cash in. Like Money in the Bank.
Okay. Interesting.
So that December, that's when I cashed in on Michael Wayne, who people might recognize from TikTok. Michael Wayne cashed him on him after he had an amazing match with Jaden Mercer, the Spectre. Perfection beat him, and now 100+ days champion.
That's a W right there. Hell yeah. And what's funny is when I was looking through your videos, as soon as you mentioned mirror, I was like, is that now that's part of your persona when you walk into the ring now, right? Or is that only sometimes you bring out the mirror as you're walking down like the aisle and stuff?
So it's always been part of my, persona, because I always thought like, oh yeah, what's a narcissist gonna do, and get a full out, like a mirror, hand mirror is easy, but when you get the full length,
no one's expecting that.
Yeah, and I didn't know this, but apparently Cody Rhodes started doing it with dashing Cody Rhodes, and I'm like, I don't remember this.
Oh my God!
I subconsciously like stole it from him. Sorry.
Nah, but it works out. It works out. Like, you got to play the cocky character, and that's how you're gonna do it. Like, if you're gonna come out with a little hand mirror, like, that's expected. Plus, the audience is only gonna see like a little handle, gonna be like, what the hell is this? You bring out the full thing, and they're gonna be like, oh hell nah, this guy is full of himself.
and it's great because I know how to angle it so where the camera guy can always get a great picture of me and the mirror, me looking into the mirror. So
perfect.
So yeah, it's definitely. But now now I got another reflection to look at.
Yes.
So. Do
you know when your next title defense is gonna be?
Yeah, it'll be June. Let me check this calendar real quick. It's in 2 weeks. Okay. Sunday, June 22nd. Now That's Wrestling. It is going to be a steel cage match. Actually.
Ooh, look at that.
Against Classic Alpha, who I just beat anyways, fair and square. But Mike Jarrett, Johnny Smash, the one who got me into this, had enough. It's the most recent match on my YouTube, Perfection Pro Wrestler. He had enough of McClure shenanigans and wants to trap me in with Classic Alpha in a steel cage. Regardless. Spoiler alert, most likely Perfection's gonna walk out still champion, and it's gonna be 200 plus days beginning next month.
You gotta get 1,317 days so you can surpass our tribal chief.
Of course.
And where can we find Now That's Wrestling? Do they broadcast live, or do they make YouTube videos of it and then post it afterwards?
So they do broadcast live on YouTube, youtube.com/Now That's Wrestling.
Okay. So I'll make them subscribe.
Yep. Yeah, and they stream it, and we do have commentary as well. So it's not you're just listening
Oh,
to,
yeah.
So it's really nice. It's a great promotion. But yeah, that's where you could find also little plug here, MakeWrestle.com. That's where you can find all their stuff. Find the new, I don't have it on me, but the new McClure family T-shirt as well.
And your merch site, where can we find like your merchandise if we need to get your merch and stuff and support?
Yep. So my merch is ProWrestlingTees.com/PerfectionProWrestler.
Perfect.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. Let me get back. It's ProWrestlingTees.com/this is what perfection looks like. But if it's easier, just go to Instagram. You'll find it in the link tree, and then it's under merch. So
yeah. So for everybody that's watching this podcast right now, his social media links, link tree, and everything will be in the description of this video. So if you want to go support, check out his merch, check out his social medias, it will be down below.
Yep. And also wearing the newest shirt, Perfection by Definition.
I like how it sort of rhymes too, like perfection by definition, like TION is at the end too, and like the cut and then the coat. It's like very catchy.
Yeah. This actually, so this sounds so bad, but who cares? Perfection's a heel. Someone designed this, but I don't remember who it is, and I went through so many old messages on Discord and cannot find this design anywhere, but I know it's from Discord. And someone sent it to me, but I have no idea what it is. So shout out to them for designing this, because I have no idea who it is.
Well, if they're watching this podcast today, then they'll probably reach out to you afterwards, be like, "Hey, I made it," or everybody's gonna try and troll you and be like, "Hey, I made it."
Yeah, I mean, not gonna get no residuals, but
what do you love about the pro wrestling industry? What if you had to pick some stuff that you enjoy about like the industry as a whole?
Man, what I love about the pro wrestling industry, obviously the interaction with fans. I always love interacting, even though I'm insulting everybody, and when I hear those boos, it's like it kind of takes me back to the bullying, because it's like let me prove you wrong, and
I like that.
We have turned a lot of people who were doubtful about perfection and the McClure family. We have a little McClure family section at the Now That's Wrestling shows now. So, but yeah, when I hear that, the fans are having fun booing me, calling me imperfection, like that's like the most famous chant. Yeah, they'll do
like that.
But then they see me beating up their favorite guy. So who's really imperfect? But it's the interaction with the fans. Also, just love the camaraderie in the locker room, especially with Now That's Wrestling. Great locker room, great wrestlers all around. Don't have to worry about the other side, the politics of people being buttholes and just going into business for themselves. Another thing that I love about the wrestling business is just that I get to, and it's so funny because in real life, I always describe myself as the most introverted extrovert. It comes to meeting new people, I'm a little standoffish. Like my last job, I didn't talk to other people for like months, but once they got to know me, now I just don't shut up.
I get it. I'm the same way in a way. I feel like if it takes a bit to get to know me, like you gotta approach me first. Otherwise, I'm not gonna go up to you unless like there's a work responsibility needed to do so.
But with like perfection, like I'm a new person. Like I go back to the toxic, egotistical me back then, and I'm just so open, so I kind of like transform once that bell rings. I think that's another thing. I get to be myself, but also not myself.
And like I feel the same way when it comes to me with streaming. Like I don't know if you've seen like how my stream is on Twitch, like right when it goes from like the video to my camera, almost every time I start showing my face and I'm like this and all that, somebody's putting the boo sounds almost immediately and wanting me to like get banned or raid out and leave already, and I freaking love it. It almost makes me seem like the ultimate heel. It translates to Twitter, they're like FJLD, so I definitely understand what you're saying on that end. It's a good feeling. It's a fun feeling. You feel like you're doing your job right because they enjoy your presence in a way.
Yeah, and yeah, that's the thing. That's what they're doing. They're not doing it out of ill will. They're not actually saying, hey, like we don't want to see you. Because if they really didn't want to see you, they probably wouldn't even came in anyways. They're doing it because you both have mutual respect of like, it's okay, you can boo me, you can say all this stuff. Just know I'm gonna get back at you harder, and that's the
the challenge.
So, yeah, and I I've been in your streams and it's great. I see all the people roasting you, and I love being here on the Know Your Wrestling podcast. Sorry, JLD.
Damn. Episode 3, if you guys want to see it, Mr. Know Your Wrestling was our guest. That's my plug right there.
Yeah.
It's fun to not only be a fan, but like knowing like that you also see that like love for it. And I guess we also see it like for like most professional wrestlers that we probably see on a day-to-day basis. Like they enjoy what they do. Like even Dominic, I'm sure he freaking, and I mentioned Dominic a lot because he is probably my favorite heel of all time in terms of the WWE and how much they just hate the man. And in my eyes, I'm like, yo, he's doing a good job. He's doing what he needs to do. So you actually alluded to this a little bit earlier when I asked you about like what people don't expect when you're like a professional wrestler. So tell me a little bit about your workout regimen, how it looks like when you're preparing for a match. Do you like do any specific workouts that help you out to like have that endurance and stamina? Are there any expectations that wrestlers should have if they're trying to get into wrestling in terms of that? And any kind of specific diet that you got to go through? Tell me a little bit about that.
So first and foremost, I want to hit this first because I wish I learned this. Well, especially with what's coming now. So don't know if like everyone knows, or everyone's kind of seen the trend that especially WWE, they're looking for athletes first.
Mm-hmm.
And I if I would have known that when I started to want to be a wrestler, like because back then it was you get trained, your independence, and if you're good enough on the independence, then you get signed or get a spot, right? But now they're taking in athletes first and then teaching them how to be a character. So for anyone who wants to get into wrestling, go be athletic. Because me growing up, I'm not a big sports guy. The only sports I love is pro wrestling and MMA. I don't know if it's just because I love fighting or I grew up fighting a lot, but that's the only thing I really suggest. Go ahead and play football. Go ahead and play baseball. Anything that will get you athletic. Because now, especially with age going against me, it's yes, I have the character. Yes, I know how to do all this, but I need to look like perfection.
Yeah.
And because it is a body image type industry, so definitely get athletic. As far as my workout regimen, like I said, I just started training with Joey Swole. He's great, and I think it's affordable as well. But before that, like the past 3 years, been doing of course lifting. CrossFit's a great thing. That's what we did in Black and Brave. They asked for a lot of CrossFit because even in MMA, it's about the explosivity about when you're down and out, when you're tired. If you're wrestling a match and you're already blown up in the middle of the match, but you have to do flippity doo-dah later, like you got to be there. So CrossFit was definitely a big help. Far as eating right, definitely get your diet right. I'm a big basically carnivore. I love steaks and all that stuff, but get your veggies in. I love and I'm so picky. I don't like onions.
Oh, we're the opposite.
Eat your veggies. Have potatoes, broccoli. I think that's typically the only veggies I really. Oh, corn. It's like
sweet potatoes are good too. Avocado.
Oh no, I'm super picky when it comes to that. Give me my little chicken nuggies. I want to go back to chicken. Give me chicken nuggies. Give me mac and cheese. But I can't do that. You can't do that.
Yeah, too much pasta, too much bread. You'll get tired real quick. Unfortunately, if only good stuff actually was healthy. Imagine we could go to Chick-fil-A and be freaking swole. How freaking beautiful that would be.
Hey, that Cobb salad. I don't know if you had the Cobb salad from
Chick-fil-A. Never had it. I see it all the time, but I never get it.
It's so good. And I think you might even, especially during these hot summer days, you might actually prefer the Cobb salad over. Because, it's healthy. It's a great portion, obviously low calories because it's all vegetables. And you don't feel like that heaviness of other foods. Like, yeah, it has chicken. You don't have that heaviness of oh man, I want to go to sleep. No, you're energized.
You're not bloated or anything, yeah.
Yeah, the Cobb salad, you need to try that.
I'll put that on my list for sure. The Joey Swole thing, how does that work? Do you meet with him specifically, or do you does he give you the red, what you got to do and the menu items you got to make, or how does that work with him?
Yeah, if you just look at his Instagram, he has his website there. Literally, you tell him. So they have a 1 month, 2 month, 3 month program.
Okay.
And he cuts the prices really down. I think 1 month's only $99. which
Okay.
is for a regiment for what you get. You get the training regiment for a month, and you also get weekly check-ins, and you also get food plan as well. So yeah, you literally just tell them like, hey, I want to do this, and there's a little survey, little questionnaire that you fill out, like, hey, I want to do this, I want to get to this weight, but I also don't want, and I get specific. Like for me, and you can see this, my beginning my years, I started developing a gut, and it's not even like flab gut. It was a very like tight like beer belly, but I don't drink beer at all. So, but I think that just had to do with the whole just eating meat, you eating a bunch of carbs and
No,
not
yeah, no
having
veggies.
veggies. So so he definitely helped me out with that. But that's how you go about. I think joeyswole.com will actually just take you there. So
I mean, I took like a 2-month hiatus from the gym. I think it just, I'll be straight up, I was lazy. And I know I mentioned that on TikTok. I've just been lazy with the gym. So like, this is week 3 straight of 5 days straight in the gym. I'm just trying to get right back into it.
Well, yeah, that see, I always say that too. Consistency is, I mean, we touched on this earlier. Consistency is key. It's not about the days where you go to the gym, you're like, yeah, great workout, or you're excited to go to the gym. It's about the days where like, man, I don't want to do crap.
Yeah, you pull yourself out of the bed.
Yeah, it's not motivate, it's discipline. You have to discipline yourself, especially if you want to make it into industry, or if you just want to live a healthy life. You have to put the work in. Everyone says, I don't have time to do work. I don't have time. No one does, but make time. You have to make time. How bad do you want to better yourself? You know, not just, you don't want to just better yourself just for a summer body or anything. Like, you want to live a long life. So
it comes down to the discipline. At the end of the day, like, I've had my days where I've wanted to just stay in and sleep, and unfortunately I have. But on top of the discipline, it's understanding that if I do flop on certain things, if I slack off, understanding what it takes to get back on track instead of letting yourself go into a downward spiral. I think people should understand that also, because I think it can be very easy for people to see their downward spiral and just give up, rather than like trying to say, you know what, I see, like, hey, like for me example, I probably gained like 10 pounds or something like that. How can I go back down those 10 pounds, rather than just like, oh, screw this, I'll order food, I'm tired of this, like I give up, it's no use.
Yeah, and I'd like to add this because I think this is really great, because I just recently learned this last year. So I started doing Sheamus's Celtic Warrior workouts.
Okay.
And like, yeah, he has like a whole playlist. Go check him out on YouTube. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
he brings other people in. He brought in like Rhea Ripley's Arms Days.
I've seen on Instagram. I've seen him post a few times.
Yeah, it's a great pro, especially if you're just starting to work out. They will blow you up, but they make you feel better. But his with Liv Morgan, and I think this is great. For those who don't know, Liv Morgan never worked out before joining WWE.
She worked at Hooters.
Yeah, she worked at Hooters, but she never went to the gym.
Yeah.
What she did when she first started was she'd go to the gym, even just in the parking lot, and then leave for just 30 minutes. Because she would do that every single day. Because the habit you want to develop is not even just working out. The habit is going to the gym. Even if you don't even go through the doors of the gym, the fact that you're in the parking lot, eventually you're going to be like, I think I can spare, extra 10 minutes in the sauna. Even if you just sit in the sauna, even if you're just sitting, even into the gym, just sitting on a bench or sitting on the wall, just chilling, watch everybody go. Eventually you're going to be like, I'm bored, I want to go do something. Think for anyone who wants to work out, just go to the gym 10-15 minutes after your day and then just leave.
Sometimes that's all it takes. Like for my cardio days, I'm literally there 20 minutes, I go home. I'm just doing the Stairmaster and I come out sweating. Part of that's probably because I use a sauna belt, like for my stomach, but at the same time, it's like, bro, that's a lot of calories that you probably burned that you had before.
It blows my mind that like you could just trick yourself to do that. Like that was just like a life hack to like, oh yeah, all you gotta do is go to the gym. You don't have to work out. And to trick yourself to work out is just going to it. That's
fair. That's a good mindset too. Because like when you go to the gym, you're not going there to sit around. Once you're in there, you're gonna like get your routine done. There might be some moments where you want to like say, oh, I'll skip this machine for today or whatever, but you're gonna get something done. And then when you start seeing the improvements of your body, you're like, okay, I can go back and now I can add this extra workout, or I can add another plate for my bench press or whatever the case is. And it just goes from there. And I think like professional wrestlers have such a big discipline of that. People have their down times and all that. People go through a lot of things, but they're very dedicated to it because they love the industry. Kind of like what the question was, what do you like about the industry? Dedication. So what does the process look like if somebody wanted to get into wrestling schools? I know you're a 2018 graduate of Seth Rollins' school. What is the process for somebody that, like, if I wanted to get into wrestling, let's say I'm like ready and jacked, ready to go, like what would be my process to try and get that done?
I'd say, obviously, you want to get trained and stuff. I feel like it also goes, you don't want to just go to some academy that's Joe Schmo. Not saying you have to go to Black and Brave or you have to go to some big name, but like go to someone like, especially if you know the indies before, if you know like oh wow, this is a nice promotion, they have a school, go there. Don't go to like someone's backyard and be like yeah, I held Randy Savage's ring gear one time. Like, no, don't go to that. Go to the guy. Go to a reputable school. Do your research. Because again, this is going to be people that you're trained from. And if you want to mirror your skills after Joe Schmo over Seth Rollins or over Tyler Breeze, that's not the way to go. So yeah, go to a reputable school. Do some research. Go to a reputable school. A little side note, I don't suggest, as you know, because I graduated from there, but I don't suggest going to Black and Brave as your first training just because it's so fast. And when I was still learning how to bump, we were already on to like doing crazy spots and stuff. I have time to digest. So I regret not going to like a different school, let my basics go. So then when I go to Rollins school, I'm ready to go. And now I can learn this psychology and pick Rollins' brain. But yeah, go to a reputable school. Even I see, and I've seen this on a lot on Reddit. Be like, oh, but this is too far, or oh, this is too much. Again, it goes back to the time and money thing. Ember Moon used to go 3 hours to training and 3 hours back.
Wow.
Like every single day or whenever there's training days. And then again with like money, like it's sure Black and Brave is pricey, but so
it's not like you said, some random guy in the backyard. I held it's so funny. I held Macho Man's ring gear. I don't know why that was so good.
Do you trust me? People will latch onto that and then say they can go train people. It's insane, especially on the independent scene.
There was a documentary of how the podcast with Joe Rogan and the Undertaker, and I watched it, and it was the whole wrestling school thing. He went like from door to door asking to be trained, and apparently this guy like scammed him and a bunch of friends out of money. Yep. And just disappeared. And I think he like bumped into him one day, like later on down the line. I forgot what happened, but it goes to show you, even the best when they were training, like you gotta look around what you're doing. It was also nice to see like how he, like, Undertaker's dedication was to finally get into what, WCW I think it was, like where he went every day to the office just to see if there was a job for him, and I guess most people would give up after like 7 days probably, but he continued.
Yeah, it's again consistency. I feel like that's gonna be the code word for.
And that's the topic of this whole podcast: consistency. Perfection featuring consistency. So I was looking at your YouTubes for a little bit. The first thing that comes up when you open up YouTube.com is your match with Sonny Kiss. I'm sure that was a big moment for you to be able to wrestle with somebody who was an AEW star, TNA star, somebody who has a lot of like experience in the business and on TV also. Was there anything that Sonny was able to give you in terms of any advice or information as someone who has made it there that has stuck out to you, or anything that she may have said to you that helped you out in your career today?
It was especially a little side note. This was only my second year of wrestling, and I was already wrestling Sonny Kiss.
That's awesome, man. That's insane. Great.
I remember when I got told it was supposed to be Sonny Kiss. I'm like studying Sonny Kiss for months on end. Writing down every single thing I want to do and how I can maneuver it and what would look great and stuff. And I had this whole list, and I believe I have it in my phone, but it was such a long list. And this is what Sonny taught. Like I said, I'm like, I finally met Sonny and was like, I'd like to do this. I watched a bunch of your stuff, and I think this would be great. This would be great. This would be great. And then basically just stopped me and was like, we're second match. And so I cut so much stuff from that, and basically just taught me like, hey, keep it simple, stupid. Like, literally
Okay.
Sonny Kiss, keep it simple, stupid. Because yeah, sure, especially with the independents, yeah, sure, the flippy stuff is great. right? But how do fans connect with Flippy Dippy? Fans want to feel. Fans want to be a part of the action.
Yeah.
Right. So if you watch a match, there's a what's called, there's me like talking crap, and there's a big sign, and I thought this was so great. There was a big sign that says, "If Sonny loses, we riot."
Damn, like the
And
Cena
I thought
one.
that was amazing. Just thinking about that, it makes me realize, like, man, that was such a great pivotal time in my life.
That's
where,
great
like,
too. After like in 2 years, you're already like wrestling stars that have been in the business. That's a great accomplishment, and congrats to that. I know that was a bit ago, but still, it's like really cool too. Would there be any other star that you'd like to wrestle, whether they're in like the indie scenes or TNA, AEW? Would there be somebody you'd like to wrestle if you had the opportunity to?
Yeah, I think it would be great. Oh man, there's what's called. I think it would be so great. And I don't really have a lot of dream matches, but now that, people being released and whatever, obviously pretty sure everybody wants to see Perfection versus I Am Perfection, Dolph Ziggler,
Nick Nemeth, let's go.
Yeah,
I like.
pretty sure everyone wants to see that. I think that would be amazing. Met him last month, and he was great.
Yeah, I saw the pictures. Awesome.
Also in that same show, Tyler Breeze. He is actually in my top 5 because I take inspiration from him, especially
the
him in
selfie
NXT.
stick. Yeah,
His selfie stick took a lot of inspiration from him. Him and Jushin Thunder Liger
Ooh, that's a classic name. That's a classic name.
You want to talk about Keep It Simple Stupid? I think it was Brooklyn 1 or Brooklyn 2, and they started off the show. And if you watch it, they don't do a whole lot, but the fans are just so into it because they're just such characters. And going back to the Sunny Kiss, keeping it simple. It doesn't need to be crazy, So yeah, Tyler Breeze, definitely. This one might be a little rocky. Patrick Clark, Velveteen Dream.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, just because he was originally in my top 5. Because in NXT, that was so much potential, and stuff happened. But I would still be down to pick the brain and do a match, because I think that'd be a great clash right there.
I feel like with Dolph Ziggler, if WWE allowed like Now That's Wrestling or wherever you end up in the business, like to use that theme song, like if they said, you know what, fine, you can use this as one time, like that would be a classic. Like your theme song, Fresh So Clean, and then I Am Perfection. It would just be a battle of the perfect. Winner's the most perfect.
or right, because there's actually, don't know if no one knows, there's like 2 versions of that song. It's the first one, and then there's the second one where it's like more rock and roll.
Yeah, okay.
And then I can come out to the OG because I Am Perfection, and he can come out to the rock and roll version of I Am Perfection. And I think that would put some butts in seats for sure.
He's doing very well too in TNA now with his brothers, so really I think he's going for the tag titles today, actually. I think it's today.
Yeah, it is, huh?
I need to get Access TV because I don't have Access TV on Spectrum. You gotta pay like more if I want to get that channel. I do have the channel, but you gotta unlock it, unfortunately. So it's either get TNA Plus or YouTube, which I don't even have YouTube TV.
Didn't TNA used to just be on Twitch?
On Twitch? I don't even know.
They used to be on Twitch.
After like the Spike TV era, before like Hulk Hogan got into TNA, they were always on Spike TV, and I always watched it every Thursday night. Yep. It was so good. After Hulk Hogan came is when I kind of stopped watching wrestling completely. The downfall of TNA with Hogan and all that. Yeah. And then I came back, but it was strictly WWE. So seeing them back now, it's interesting if with all the hype going on with pro wrestling in general, I wonder if they'll ever get a TV deal again, like a more accessible TV deal, like kind of like how CW and all that is available.
Well, I mean, look, they're getting TV time now. You got, Ethan Page and Jordan Grace
on
NXT, and who was called, they called the Forbidden Door, but like, man, that's more like Forbidden like cave. People are just able to go in. So I'm excited. I'm excited if they, because I feel like as WWE, we have the signed people, but like as the top dog, why not? You're bringing more viewers in. I feel like it would also get rid of that, some of that tribalism, that whole, this is better than this is better than that.
Oh my god, I talk so much shit about people who are like, so pro AEW, so pro WWE. Like, shut up, enjoy it. Like,
exactly.
I could go on a whole podcast just of that.
Yeah, I always say, and even then, like in WWE, like a show, I was always taught or like noticed wrestling is a variety show. you have horror, The Fiend, Undertaker,
Yeah,
Kane.
you got different
You have
categories.
comedy, art. You have different categories. So just because you don't like a certain storyline or whatever doesn't mean, oh yeah, this whole Raw sucked, this whole AEW sucked.
Yeah.
This is why AEW, like, it's a variety show. When I would watch wrestling, if I know a storyline is coming up, I go on my phone and I wait until it's done. It's not that hard. I don't need to go on Twitter or social media and make a rant. Oh, this is why this storyline sucks. Like, cares?
Exactly.
Like, this sounds so bad. I mean, I don't care. But nobody cares about your 50,000 word paragraph you made on Facebook. The company doesn't care about it.
They're not gonna cry. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, you lost me as a fan. Oh,
That's
sorry
like,
about the billions of people.
You just lost yourself a customer, like the people in retail stores. Like, oh, the horror. Oh no.
Exactly. Like love what you love and leave it at that. Like, even with stuff that I do love, I don't need to go and make a big rant about how much I love something, because in the end, they don't care. Like, and nobody really asked for it.
The people that annoy me the most are the ones that, because I'm like in a few wrestling Facebook groups, the people that
Same.
will intentionally take photos of the AEW shows, because they don't pack the arenas like that. It's usually like small things, and a lot of what I think it is AEW doesn't go everywhere. AEW goes a lot of times to these like small towns where first of all, wrestling isn't probably big there, wherever they're going. And then two, some people don't even know what AEW is. They just know WWE, and they'll go to those shows. When they see like how low the crowd is, it's like they think, oh, they can't fill seats, they suck. Like, no, like, it's a demographic and just exposure. AEW's been around for only 5 years. WWE wasn't filling up thousands of seats arenas when it was 1965. If anything, AEW's a little bit ahead than like WWE when they first started many years ago, and have access to technology.
But like, even then, who cares? I'm not there to watch the crowd and see how many that one less no, I'm here to watch what's happening in the ring, what's happening on the screen. Like, that's all I'm here for. I don't care if 2 people didn't show up or 100 people. It could just be me, and I'm still don't care, because I'm gonna watch what's happening.
Everybody's an internet sports analyst when it's time to talk shit. And honestly, if I was in one of those AEW shows where the crowd is like small, I'm going to the front. I'm gonna end up on TV.
Exactly.
I'm gonna make sure I'm there, especially like trying to show off like some JLD stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, you got to. See, that's where Know Your Wrestling to, I'm gonna throw some shots here. He was on NXT. Where was his shirt?
Yeah. He was like, oh, the one time I don't wear my branded t-shirt, because I know that was like his.
It was great.
That was his second week in a row going to NXT, because he went for the Jordan Grace one too, when she actually showed up. So when he took a picture on his Instagram of like where his seat was behind commentary, I was like, I need to find him.
Yeah.
And like,
trust me, I was doing that too.
And as soon as you see Roxanne Perez, I was like, there he is. Instant screenshot. I had to screenshot it on YouTube though, because I don't got DVR, so I had to actually replay it, unfortunately. But it was funny seeing him. So all right, so I got a few more questions, but I appreciate you hopping on. This has been freaking fantastic, and it's nice.
This has been great.
I guess staying kind of in topic of like people who talk shit. What do you have to say to those who like to say wrestling's fake? And we all know the answer to this, because we all as wrestling fans feel the same way. But I want to see what your perspective is. Maybe you have a different mindset on it. So, wrestling is fake. What are your thoughts on it?
First thing, and I've caught this. I've caught people doing this even like behind my back, because like, I'm out in public. Nobody really knows. But the first thing I do, I don't even say anything. I just show them my elbow. I literally say,
okay,
does that look fake to you? Does that look, and what's called? And I'll say, I'm pretty sure my concussion, what's called, that I suffered like a year ago, wasn't fake either. And what's called, the whole argument of movies are, or what's called, but look at movies and stuff. I feel like, that's a very, it's not a cop out, but it's very easy. But it's like people can't deny that the athleticism it goes into it, because what they're defining as fake is the results.
Yes, correct.
And I think that, and I try to tell them, I'm like, okay, so when you go watch Spider-Man, or go watch, even when you go play a game, you know how it ends. You're gonna end up Mario's gonna get Peach. You know how it ends, but you like it. You like the journey, right? So then what's the difference there? And what's called, it's just, and the fact that people are still saying that to this day, it kind of blows my mind because that seems like a very like you live under a rock
Basically,
type of deal, especially with how wrestling is now, where it's so much more athletic now
and it's more popular. Like more people know about it now. It's just become a
yeah.
global phenomenon.
Exactly. And they see, especially WrestleMania, they see that plastered everywhere, especially if it's in their city.
Yep, Philadelphia had that.
Yep. It's plastered everywhere. So they can't deny that no matter how fake it is, it has an impact. So shut up. Enjoy it. Try to be a part of it. If you want, go to a show, get drunk, and make fun of it. Make fun of it because I guarantee you, they'll be like, okay, that was pretty cool. But that's pretty cool. And then you're like, oh, I just realized that wrestling doesn't have to be serious. Wrestling isn't serious.
It's the man's soap opera.
Exactly. Like you're there to have a good time. You watch it to have a good time and be entertained, to make you go through emotions of, oh man, I really hated when they did this, or oh man, I really loved when they did this.
And those moments are what they'll remember too. Like if they see some crazy spot that goes on, they're gonna be like, oh shit, like Logan Paul jumped through the table. Or like even now, and like the one thing I was gonna say as you finish this was did you see how many celebrities were behind Michael Cole and Corey?
Yep. Even
people that don't even associate with wrestling were there. Vanessa Hudgens, Lil Baby, T-Pain.
I didn't know Vanessa Hudgens was a fan.
Literally front row behind ringside. Obviously they got money, so they're gonna be there. Goes to show how entertaining it's gotten. Snoop Dogg, Hall of Famer, and always makes an appearance, and everybody eats it up and loves it because he's entertaining himself. He's a natural for WWE with the way he is.
For sure.
So for people to see, and then Sexy Red on NXT, like what? Out of all people,
who saw that coming?
Like out of nowhere,
who saw that coming? But like, and that's the thing, and that's the and this is why wrestling, I remember saying this when Mania was coming around, everybody was super hyped and everybody got into it. I made a post on my shoot. I said, remember to love wrestling out of WrestleMania season.
Yes.
Because it's easy to be like, oh, I love football during Super Bowl. But
great comparison.
During those downtimes, remember to love it. Like, yes, you don't have to like everything, but just enjoy the ride. The Rock. I remember after WrestleMania, when I got to work, it was one of two things. Either the older people said, "Oh, I saw on the news, I saw on this and that The Rock came back and the Undertaker. I remember those people. Blah blah blah." I'm like, yeah, and they would come to me because they know I'm the wrestler. And then the young kids would come up to be like, "Oh, I saw I Show Speed. Like, why was he there? That's so cool."
Influence, bro.
Exactly. And that's what I love, because it sucked me growing up that, I was getting bullied for everything, but I love how it's so much more accepted now.
Yes, same.
Just because it's getting exposure, and nobody cares that it's fake. Nobody cares that like I Show Speed got RKO'd,
or Randy Orton doing the roof right before the RKO. It was so funny. It was so funny
because you didn't expect, because like I Show Speed, you can, you're like, all right, he's being Speed. But man, when he started barking,
I was dead. Dead. Part of me thinks Kai Cenat's gonna be in the next one. I think it's gonna be Kai. It's always Logan's voice.
It has to be, especially just because it was recent. Kevin Hart stream.
Yeah. And the memes people made with that Kevin Hart stream with Kai was insane. It was so funny.
Yeah, we friends.
When it comes down to it, it's like I'm happy celebrities have been more accepting of this. There was even a tweet from SZA that was like, "I'm stuck in the elevator with Austin Theory. Who is this guy?" It goes to show, like, these people know. Like, they may not talk about it every day. They may not, like, even reference it at all. And then going back to what you said about, like, enjoying stuff outside of WrestleMania. Yeah, you can enjoy WrestleMania by itself. I'm sure a lot of celebrities do and all that. But when you watch off-season wrestling, it makes you appreciate WrestleMania much more. Because all those storylines, all those championship matches, all of those promos just built up to one final match for like whatever the storyline is, makes you love the show even more, and makes you grateful to be a wrestling fan.
Yeah, I mean, look at the Bloodline storyline.
Insane. Best story, one of the best storylines in modern history, and still going too.
Yeah, exactly. And I just want to go back real quick about celebrities loving wrestler that you didn't know were wrestling fans. I didn't know this, and let's call it rest in peace. But Amy Winehouse was a wrestling fan, apparently.
Oh wow, I didn't know that either.
I saw it on TikTok. where she's driving past WWF or the New York, that place, where they had the
restaurant?
little restaurant.
Yeah,
the restaurant. She was passing it. It's like, oh, blah blah, and she's like, that's where all the wrestlers go, blah, and she's like talking about it like she's a fan. I'm like, what?
that's
Like,
awesome.
huge dub. So like it's stuff like that where like, man, like, yeah, I'm glad that celebrities are being more open about being fans. But yes, yeah, like off-season wrestling, it definitely pays off to the season ender wrestling.
Yeah, the season that's basically what it is, the season finale, and then then you're building up for the next season, which is the next WrestleMania. So they know what they're doing, WWE, and they freaking crush it, especially Triple H now. So
for sure.
So we got one final question, and the question is, what's one thing, if you had the chance, that you change about the wrestling industry today, if there's anything you'd like to change?
The politics, especially on the independent scene, the politics. It's so ridiculous to see the things that not only I've been through, but that I've witnessed. It's almost, I like to compare it to high school drama, or
Right.
even, I'd say even elementary drama. Let's say you're a wrestler, and then, let's say you're a wrestler and I go, oh man, I don't like that JLD guy. His gimmick sucks. And people would take that, or you take that like you just got shot in the heart, or like I shot your dog or something. And then, especially if you have a bigger influence, you'll go to promoters and be like, hey, don't book Perfection, because he's a bad guy. He's not a good guy.
It's messed up.
It's so bad. And I understand back in the day that it was everybody for themselves. And this is why I love Now That's Wrestling. This is why, I represent Now That's Wrestling, because that whole locker room, I don't have to worry about nothing. I don't have to worry about being stabbed in the back. I'd rather, and I just say this just because I just heard it on a Busted Open podcast with Bubba Ray Dudley. I'd rather be stabbed in the front. If you don't like a storyline that's going because I'm on top or whatever, let's talk about it. Why should, and I don't run anything. I have no control. Let's be real. I don't have control. The only thing is I'm here to represent. But like, tell me why you should take the title from me, or how does it make sense? And this kind of goes on to the whole Triple H era, right? So what I've seen is that when wrestlers, he said this at a podcast, I think it's Logan Paul podcast, when wrestlers back then would pitch something to Vince would be like, no, that's dumb. We have a different plan. Whereas Triple H, now he goes, sure, we could do that, but why? And then if that happens, what happens next?
You gotta have that information too. It actually also trains you to want to understand the business in a way from a storyline perspective, not just, hey, I want the title. Hey, so-and-so should be in the match. Why?
And he just love the whole yes, and then what? The fact that he says yes first is reassuring already that like wrestling's in a better place. But yeah, it was called, going back to a great locker room. Also, it's a lot of people who are like Now That's Wrestling roster. Also, Hornswoggle's promotion, ACW, another great school to go to, being trained by Hornswoggle. All those kids, Preston Palmer, Jimmy Ocean, also known as Jimothy, and Now That's Wrestling, the Baker Boys, definitely check them out. Spectre, Jada Mercer, who actually just worked Jay Lethal last month, had a bomb match. That was the same event with Dolph Ziggler. Just the whole locker room is nothing but good vibes.
Unfortunately, I feel like in every job industry there is some kind of politics that people need to understand and like try and get out of. And like even with the wrestling industry, I've seen, like, I follow a few people that have like worked in indie promotions, not even as wrestlers, just as even like commentators, announcers and stuff, and some of them have had some bad things to say about behind the scenes stuff, like about being paid, not being paid the right amount, or not being paid at all. I'll pay you next week or whatever. Stuff with the women's locker room, which unfortunately is a thing where like they don't feel safe, and it's a lot of stuff that it just sucks. And it comes down to who leadership is, but sometimes leadership isn't really leadership and they're just abusing power.
Yeah, you hit it right on the nose. Again, if there's one thing I could change, I'm not saying everybody has to be friends.
No, not at all.
You people claim to own a wrestling promotion. Sure, go ahead, own a wrestling promotion, but do you own a wrestling business? Not saying you have to be WWE and run like WWE, but like you want to have people come in, like this is a business at the end, so treat it like a business.
Treat it how you want your family to be treated, because that's what essentially your coworkers and your people you're hiring are to you. and they want to see you as that, as a family. I mean, I know like now today's age is like, oh, we are a family here at Red Flag, but the actual sense, like, you know, you want to feel like you're in a safe place and as if you're home, and that's what every place should strive to be like.
I like to allude it to, and I don't mean, I'm not trying to burn bridges with this company, but it kind of the whole like Tony Khan thing where he's kind of I guess like, and it's fine to be, you know, a fan first, right? But again, it's a business, and I'm just and I'm not advocating Punk's, I guess kind of old news, but not advocating Punk's decision. But if Punk, and I think it's just because I've been through this, if Punk tells you, hey, go do something about this, please, about the whole Jungle Boy thing, hey, go do something about this, can you address this? And your answer is, what do you want me to do? Or I don't know, or I don't know what to do. And Punk goes, if you don't handle it, I will. And you're not gonna like that. Shows that like you're not a real like business. And I'm glad to say, who am I? Because, you know, I don't have the money, the con money, but like it shows that like, are you a business, or are you just a fan who has money and runs a wrestling promotion?
I'm not a fan of Vince because of what's going on right now, but if there's one thing that Vince had that Tony Khan doesn't, it's balls. No one messed with Vince. They knew how much power he had. They knew how much of his personality really stuck out. And no one dared to try and do something to Vince like that, or step up to Vince in that manner. It seemed almost like Tony Khan was just a step, like being walked all over on. And that's the difference.
What do you say? He was threatened for his life, or he was scared for his life. And it's like, you're the bit, like, if you're that scared, fire him. Step up. Like, again, grow some balls. It's just like, treat this as a business, because in the end, you are a business.
And like, there was a funny thing that happened. Apparently, there was like a story that when CM Punk came back, Tony was in Gorilla, like screaming, like, yeah, like, let's go, CM Punk, like a true fan. And I commented, I was like, could you imagine Vince yelling out, yeah, let's go, Cena? You got to treat it like a production. Yes, you can be excited. Like, you know, he loves wrestling. There's no problem with that. But understand also, these are technically co-workers and business people you're working with, not your local celebrities that are just doing meet and greets every week because you can pay them.
Yep. Like this shows, because I didn't know about that story. That just shows that Tony Khan was excited for Tony Khan. He wasn't excited for fans. He wasn't, you know, because I'm pretty sure Vince said that he wasn't silently smiling because he sees fans going crazy, because that's his, you know, that's his those are his customers. He's worried about him being a fan and be like, yeah, we got CM Punk. I got CM Punk. Yeah, that's so great. Rather than being like, man, look, this is great. I love
this crowd's going wild. The ratings are good.
It just shows that like who he is trying to please.
And I mean, AEW is doing its thing, but I hope they can grow to more, if anything. Down the line. Obviously, they've been alive for like 5 years, but I hope that there's more to come with them, and that Tony is able to, like, you know, get more of a grip on the business side of things rather than just like excited to see some wrestling going on, you know, because when you got billions of dollars, more money, more problems.
Yeah, and he has great talent. Like, there's great talent on there,
bro.
So it's just, and that's another thing. Like, it kind of goes with the whole politicking thing. I'm sure there's some politicking going. I don't know anyone specifically or anything, so don't take this like verbatim. But I'm pretty sure, like, because I heard about it in like WCW, where you don't know who was in charge. Was it Bischoff or was it the NWO? Was it Hogan? So I think that's kind of what's going on too. You have people going to con saying, "Let me do this. I'm gonna go do this." Okay. You know, I mean, even Jungle Boy.
See ya. And not even hearing him out like, hey, I'm gonna go do this. Oh, okay, yeah, see you, bye. And then I'm also sure they walk all over him with the contracts too. And then, like, you know, that's a whole other business in itself, figuring out like creative stuff with people and their certain contracts, what they could do, what they can't. And I'm sure Tony Khan's just kind of dishing out money and allowing people to do whatever. Bro, Okada got the Continental title in his second match. And then same with Mercedes Moné. As much as I'm a big Sasha Banks fan,
trust me, my top five. Seriously,
I was so sad to see Willow lose the TBS title, because she works very hard in AEW for what she had. I get the build up of, like, you know, they worked in New Japan, but wished Willow would have retained in some way. And now Mercedes in a title for title match at Forbidden Door for what, her third or fourth match? That's insane.
Yeah, and it was also there's way too many fuck titles on that brand. But kind of going off the Monet thing, I would like to ask you a question as a fan. What if, and because we, everybody kind of assumes, which, and I don't know if it's truth, if Mercedes was not getting as much money as she's asking for, do you think she would still be with AEW, or she'd go back to Paul Levesque, WWE?
Probably Paul Levesque, because Paul Levesque proved to all of us that no matter how bad the bridge is burned, anything is possible. Just Punk alone is a big sign that Triple H don't care if you talk shit about him or talk shit about WWE, or even if he won a lawsuit from the company, he's willing to bring you back. And then like with Naomi, she walked out with Mercedes Moné after the tag title situation. And there's just so many wrestlers that you think wouldn't come back because of their burned bridges, but they're back there, they're doing their thing, and we're happy. And that shows Triple H cares about more of the fans than like his own ego.
It's what's best, literally best for business. That's it. Like, that's it. And I really wish that Mercedes, like, I'm still watching all her stuff. Like I said, she is like on my top 5 inspirations as well, behind all the 3 I listed, plus Tyler Breeze, plus Sasha, because she was kind of actually a hidden inspiration, because I didn't realize until recently. I'm like, man, I take a lot of inspiration from her. So like
the boss, the legit boss.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, so I really want her to come back, especially with the 4 horsewomen. Like, imagining them just reconvening. Without the money, I think she would be great in WWE.
Absolutely. They'll bring back a whole theme song and everything. Maybe Def Rebel might change it a little bit. You know how the whole Def Rebel meme's going on now, but the original theme song was very catchy, and it would have been cool to see her back there. But Perfection, this concludes the end of our podcast. And once again, seriously, thank you for hopping on today. Ladies and gentlemen watching this video, this is Perfection, our Now That's Wrestling champion. Make sure you guys follow him in all of his social media platforms down below in the description if you want to go check him out. Check out his matches, check out his social medias, his merchandise. Everything is there for you to guys check out. And as always, thank you guys for pulling into the Laying It Down podcast. We will be coming soon with another video for you guys. So peace out.